Do you remember Gyro? That character who briefly appeared during the Chimera Ant arc and then just vanished? The man who, according to creator Yoshihiro Togashi, will return someday to change the fate of the world of Hunter x Hunter. But who is Gyro really? Where did he come from? Why does he represent absolute evil? And why could he be the greatest threat in human history? Today we'll dive deep into the dark and disturbing story of Gyro, the man who was abused, humiliated, rejected, and who became a king determined to spread hatred to every corner of the world. Get ready for a psychological and philosophical journey through one of the most forgotten and most dangerous characters in the Hunter x Hunter universe. Gyro is no ordinary villain. He has no army, no evil laugh, no megalomaniacal world domination plan in the classic sense. He actually represents something much deeper and far more terrifying: the evil born from abandonment, from loneliness, from trauma. He doesn't want to rule. He doesn't want to conquer. He wants to corrupt. He wants to ruin. He wants to destroy the very concept of humanity. He wants to do to the world what the world did to him. That is Gyro. And to understand just how threatening he really is, we need to return to his past. The child with no future. Gyro was born into a broken home. Literally. His father was an alcoholic, violent, and completely indifferent. And his mother? She's never even mentioned, and that already says a lot. From a young age, Gyro was taught he had no value, that his role was to serve, to take beatings, and to stay silent. His father made him work in a junkyard, gathering trash, eating scraps, sleeping on the cold floor, but the worst part wasn't the physical misery. It was the constant feeling of being unseen, of not mattering. A child who could be anyone, and at the same time, no one. And when a child has to invent a meaning for himself amidst suffering, what often arises is hatred. And in Gyro's case, that hatred built up like gunpowder. One day, Gyro wanted to share something with his father. A thought, a comment, a random magazine fact. Anything to connect with someone. But as always, his father rejected him. With harsh words, with disgust, with indifference. And in that moment, Gyro died inside. There were no more hopes, no more dreams, only the certainty that the world was rotten and that everyone around him had to pay for it. That was the breaking point. But Gyro wasn't weak. On the contrary, he used that hatred as fuel, and that's how he created the empire of NGL, Neo Green Life, a country founded on the hypocrisy of natural purity. No technology, no weapons, no communication with the outside world, an ecological paradise. But behind that facade, an industrial hell. Gyro used the country as a base for drug production and distribution. His empire thrived on addiction, moral degradation, illusion. He became a king, but a king of shadows, a king who sought not glory but decay, because for him, the more rotten the world was, the more fair it felt. The rebirth. During the Chimera Ant arc, Gyro dies, or rather, he's transformed. He's reborn as a chimera. But unlike most humans who are turned, Gyro doesn't lose his identity. He retains his memories, his hatred, his purpose, and that's the crucial point. Because if before he was just a man with political and economic influence, now he's a monster with potential nen abilities, superhuman strength, and the freedom to prepare for the next step in his crusade of destruction. Gyro isn't after revenge. He doesn't want to kill his father, or the soldiers from a neighboring republic, or the hunters. He wants something much worse. He wants to prove that humanity cannot be saved, that everyone is evil, that love is a lie, that empathy is a trick. His philosophy is simple. The world is a mistake, and everything he does is just revealing that mistake to others. How? By corrupting, infecting, creating a silent chaos. He's not a stage villain, he's a shadow villain, a social virus. After the Chimera Ant arc, Gyro vanishes. We don't see him again. But Togashi, in interviews and author notes, confirms Gyro will return, and not as a secondary character. Gyro is preparing, while Gon recovers, while Kurapika sinks deeper into the prince's succession war. While the world tries to understand what lies beyond the sea, Gyro is out there, somewhere, recruiting, corrupting, watching. And if there's one thing Togashi does better than anyone, it's planting a threat long before the storm comes. Gyro is that seed. The Dark Continent awaits, and here's where things get even darker. The Dark Continent is a land of horrors, monstrous creatures, incurable diseases, unknown species, and Gyro might be on his way there, or worse, he might already be there. Imagine a man like Gyro gaining access to the forbidden secrets of that place. Imagine what he could bring back, not just physically, but philosophically. Picture a cult led by him, a doctrine of destruction, a new empire, a new ideology. Maybe the true villain of the Dark Continent arc won't be a prince nor a beast, but rather a man who stopped being human a long time ago. Gyro is a character forgotten by many fans, and with reason. He had little screen time, little action, little interaction with the main cast, but that's precisely what makes him so dangerous. Because while other villains want the world, Gyro wants the soul of the world. He wants to break the human spirit. He wants to erase hope. And in the universe of Hunter x Hunter, where every character carries deep wounds, personal motivations, fragile cores, Gyro is the cruelest reflection, the proof that not everyone survives trauma with empathy. Some choose hate, and some, like Gyro, become hatred incarnate. And you? Do you believe Gyro will return in full force? Do you think he could be the major villain of the next arc? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you won't miss content like this. Thanks so much for watching until the end. See you in the next video.